So why doesn't the Uchiha clan ever take Obito's Sharingan back from Kakashi? After all, the Sharingan is by far the most powerful and special Kekkei Genkai that the Leaf Village possesses, and the Uchiha clan was obviously very protective of it. The Sharingan was what made that clan special, and if somebody else had the Sharingan, not only was that bad for their reputation, but they could find weaknesses of the eye or even frame the Uchiha clan using the powers of the Sharingan. It is simply a terrible thing for you to have your most powerful hidden jutsu stolen by someone else, even if that person may be from your own village, because you don't know exactly what that person's all about. Who knows what Kakashi could have done with the Sharingan? So today we're going to find out why the Uchiha clan never did anything about Kakashi having their prized eye. Obviously, from a story perspective, Kakashi had to have the Sharingan to still have that connection with Obito. Kakashi's Sharingan symbolized all of his losses, something that didn't truly belong to him, and yet Kakashi made good use of it. A gift from Obito and something that finally made them friends, and yet Obito quote-unquote dies soon after. And also Kakashi looks extremely cool with the Sharingan and its abilities are amazing. But this is all kinda obvious, right? Kakashi has a Sharingan because Kishimoto wanted to write a story about a shinobi that had a Sharingan that wasn't from the Uchiha clan, because the Uchiha clan got slaughtered. And so the only way Kakashi could have a powerful ninja in the beginning of the series, a Jonin or better, having the Sharingan and still being a good guy, would be for someone not in the Uchiha clan to have the Sharingan. Obviously Itachi shows up later on, but he is very much an antagonist in Naruto Part 1. Kakashi, on the other hand, you can show the full power of the Sharingan on a good guy, and this is a good benchmark for Sasuke's future powers. But what's most interesting here is an in-universe explanation. Why would the Uchiha clan not do anything? Because if there's one piece of knowledge that's important to protect in the Naruto series, it is the knowledge about your secret jutsu. And even though you cannot just learn the Sharingan because it's a Kekkei Genkai, the same thing applies here. You don't want your most powerful abilities to fall in somebody else's hands. It is a basic conduct in the shinobi world. Take a look at when Danzo found out that Ao from the Mist Village had a Byakugan in the 5 Kage Summit. First of all, Danzo got really pissed off when he realized that, not only because Ao frustrated his plans of becoming the grand leader of the alliance, but also because there was a Byakugan, a jutsu from the Leaf Village, in the hands of the Mist Village. He even said that if he found out which Hyuga was to blame for that Byakugan falling on enemies' hands, he would execute him. So it's a pretty serious deal. And then, after the summit ends, and Danzo is going away, even though he's technically running from the other Kages and the other ninjas from the summit, he orders Fu to go and take Ao's Byakugan. And Fu very nearly succeeds. If it wasn't for Ao's protection on the Byakugan eye, Fu would be able to just destroy it by invading Ao's mind. And when that fails, Fu even tries to behead Ao to take his head back with a Byakugan so the Mist Village wouldn't have access to it anymore, but Mei arrives and saves Ao. So obviously it was something very important for Danzo to take the Byakugan away from the Mist Village. And if it was that important for him to take the Byakugan away from the Mist, which, let's be real here, the Byakugan is not exactly the most powerful jutsu in the world, imagine a Sharingan, which is simply so much more useful for so many reasons. Not just from the inherent precognition, genjutsu, and insight powers of the Sharingan, but also because it can combo with Hashirama cells, for example, give the user the capability of using Izanagi, like Danzo and Obito do. I mean, Obito is an Uchiha already, but he has a stock of Sharingan to do Izanagi. So it's obviously a big deal for the Sharingan to be in somebody else's hands. Now you may say, well, Danzo had like 2050 Sharingan in his arms, what the hell, man? Can Kakashi have one? Which is true, but Danzo got those Sharingan after the Uchiha Clan massacre from the dead Uchihas. And nobody knew what was in Danzo's arm. So technically, you couldn't really blame the Uchiha Clan for not taking their Sharingan back from Danzo. Or from Obito for that matter, because even though Obito had a lab of Sharingan, nobody knew about it. And nobody even knew Obito existed back when the Uchiha Clan was alive, except for Itachi, who finds out about quote-unquote Madara being around and tells him, oh, I'm gonna kill the clan, don't mess with the village. But Kakashi's a very different case, right? Because Kakashi's nickname was literally Kakashi of the Sharingan or Kakashi the Copy Ninja. It flip-flopped, depending on who you ask, but he had two nicknames. And they were very much Sharingan-centric. Everybody knew that Kakashi had the Sharingan. And then you may say, well, they let Kakashi have the Sharingan because he was a loyal member of the Leaf Village, Minato trusted him, Kakashi was powerful, there was no reason to distrust Kakashi, he wasn't from an enemy village like Ao, for example, so it's fine for him to have the Sharingan. And yeah, obviously, it's not as bad for Kakashi to have a borrowed jutsu than from somebody else from another village, but it's still not something that is okay in the clan conduct. Sure, the Leaf Village and the other villages for that matter are units of strength in the Naruto world. They are a combination of shinobis that are working towards the same general goal, and they are comprised by clans. So you would say, well, it's fine. Clans would help each other if they're from the same village. And yeah, they would help each other. Some clans even have historical alliances that predate the village system, like the Nara, Yamanaka, and Akimichi clans, but secret jutsus of particular clans are not shared with other clans. There's a reason why the Nara clan is the only one capable of using the Shadow Possession Jutsu. Even though that jutsu is not a KK Genkai, it's not as if they're teaching everybody in the Leaf Village that has an affinity for it to use that jutsu. The same thing goes, for example, for the Aburame clan. They're not gonna teach people how to control bugs using their for fights and things like that. And obviously the same thing applies to the Uchiha clan. They're not just going to give the Sharingan away to other clans. Take a look at the Hyuga clan. They had a very strict policy on the Byakugan and who could have it. So much so that the Branch family had a seal on their heads, which ensured that when they died, the power of the Byakugan died with them, so nobody could get the Byakugan to use it afterwards. And if clans were to share their powers like that, then the Hyugas and the Uchihas would simply give the eyes from their dead members to other ninjas from the Leaf Village to strengthen their military capabilities. From a holistic point of view, this would definitely strengthen the military power of the Leaf Village. However, clans are still entities in the Leaf Village. Shinobi from clans, even if they are very loyal to the Leaf Village, are also loyal to their clan. And there are all sorts of politics playing out in the Leaf Village itself. The entire Itachi backstory and the reason for the Uchiha Clan massacre is politics between the Uchiha Clan and the Leaf Village. The clans also carry power by themselves within the village, and clans need that power so that they are respected in the village, so that their voices are heard, their demands are met for whatever they want. And if you dilute that power, giving away your eyes, for example, that will put you in a much weaker negotiating position in the village politics. So even though Kakashi having the Sharingan is a massive net benefit for the Leaf Village, and even for the Uchiha Clan themselves, because Kakashi is so useful in the Third Great Ninja War, for example, it is not a very good political decision for the Uchiha Clan from every single perspective. So why was it allowed? Because even if the Leaf Village says, oh no, Uchiha Clan, you cannot get the Sharingan back, it's an order, they could just send an assassin or something. Even if you don't want to kill Kakashi, you can just grab the eye or destroy the eye. It wouldn't be the most difficult thing for them to do, because the Uchiha Clan is quite powerful, if you haven't noticed. And so is Kakashi, obviously, but Kakashi was 13 years old when he got the Sharingan from Obito. I'm pretty sure there were Jonins from the Uchiha Clan that could take care of that business. Now, the only solid explanation we ever get is in a filler episode, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. And to be fair, some people consider those arcs canon because they're adapted from light novels and things like that, the Kakashi Gaiden arcs. Not the one that is in the manga, but the one that's a filler during the war arc. In one of those episodes, Fugaku is having a meeting with the Uchiha Clan and they ask him about Kakashi Sharingan and what they should do with it. And Fugaku's explanation is that he wishes to honor Obito's last wish, which was to give the Sharingan to Kakashi. And then you may say, well, that's it, that's the explanation. Sounds good to me, right? Fugaku is a very honorable man. He wants to honor Obito's wish. Which, yeah, I guess you could say that. But Fugaku was also the guy that was about to launch a coup on the Leaf Village because the Uchiha Clan didn't have enough political power. A coup that would lead to the deaths of many ninjas and civilians from the Leaf Village. So you're telling me that, oh my god, Obito's last wish has to be honored. Obito, a guy that was 12, 13 years old and barely acknowledged by the clan itself. He was the black sheep of the Uchiha Clan. The clan didn't even care about him. And yeah, sure, he was a member of the clan still. You have to respect his wishes and things like that. But the Sharingan is something a little more important. It supersedes the wishes of a singular member of the Uchiha Clan. If this is a matter of safety for the clan, then Fugaku should have said 100%, well, it was a good thing that Obito gave the Sharingan to Kakashi so he could survive that mission, but now we're gonna have to take it back because we simply cannot allow a non-Uchiha to have the Sharingan. It's just not how things work. And to be fair, I think they can just make that request to the Hokage, for example, and the Hokage doesn't really have much of a choice because if he opens the precedent that ninjas from his own village are able to steal or borrow, quote-unquote, jutsus from other clans, this could lead to a very bad environment where ninjas mages from the Leaf Village itself will try to get jutsus from other clans and steal them. And to be fair, Orochimaru and Danzo kind of do that a lot, but it's definitely illegal as hell and not something that should be allowed. But even if the village says no, Kakashi keeps the Sharingan. As I said before, what is stopping Fugaku from just sending someone to get it back? If he thinks one Uchiha is not enough, send 3 Uchiha Jonins, and I'm pretty sure 13-year-old Kakashi is not going to take care of them, especially because 13-year-old Kakashi had a 2 Tomoe Sharingan. He only awakens the 3rd Tomoe when he kills Rin, and there's a pretty decent passage of time between when Kakashi gets the Sharingan to when he awakens the 3rd Tomoe and the MS when he kills Rin there. Like, there's the entire arc when Obito is training in Madara's cave. We don't know exactly how much time passes, but it has to be at least a few months. So 2 Tomoe Kid Kakashi is powerful, but not that powerful. He's a Jonin, but I'm pretty sure the Uchiha clan would have more powerful Jonins than him. Even Fugaku himself, which we see in a filler episode, awakens the Mangekyo Sharingan during the war arc, and yeah, it's a filler episode, but it's obvious he was a very powerful guy and respected by the entire village pretty much. And the real reason would be essentially politics. You see, ever since Tobirama took power in the Leaf Village, the Uchiha clan has been losing political power in the village itself. Even though the Uchiha clan was one of the 2 founders of the Leaf Village, and even though the other founder, the Senju clan, pretty much didn't exist anymore for whatever reason, Tobirama's inheritance made sure that the Uchiha clan would be ostracized and hated by many people in the Leaf Village because they were the police force, and that they would never be able to acquire real political power within the village system. So there are a few things here that Fugaku could be trying to do by letting Kakashi keep the Sharingan. Obviously, he wants to respect Obito's wishes, after all, he's not a heartless guy, but one other thing he could be doing was to essentially gain the confidence of the Leaf Village, saying, yeah, no, this dude here, he is cool, Kakashi's a nice guy, he's powerful, he can keep the Sharingan, we're giving this away as a token of our gratitude and friendship to the Leaf Village, so please can we have some political say in the village itself and its matters. Also, before Minato dies, for instance, sending someone after Kakashi to get the Sharingan forcefully would just be a terrible idea because Minato wouldn't really like that one bit. Kakashi was his student, and Minato was extremely powerful. I can see them trying to pull that with Hiruzen as the Hokage because he's so much weaker, and that's why they would even attempt the coup when Hiruzen was in power, but if Minato had survived, for example, the Uchiha clan would never even try, unless they thought someone like Itachi could beat Minato, and taking the Sharingan forcefully from Kakashi would just make the Uchiha clan be less liked, more distrusted, and overall worsen the situation of the clan within the village. They would just be more ostracized than they ever were. Now, also there's the problem that after Minato dies and the Nine Tails attacks the village, a lot of people suspected that the Uchiha clan were behind the attack because they were the ones who could use their eyes to control the Nine Tails to make it attack the village, and technically it was an Uchiha attacking the village, controlling the Nine Tails with his Sharingan, Obito, but he wasn't affiliated with the Uchiha clan at that time. So they kind of were right about that, just not right about the clan itself being responsible for the attack. And taking the Sharingan away from Kakashi would just be like, yeah, no, we're definitely up to something, and we're having problems, and we're gonna do things forcefully that you're not gonna like. This could actually create a civil war within the Leaf Village before they even launch the coup, depending on how violent they are with Kakashi and depending who sees what's going on. Maybe they could pull off like a very covert type of thing, taking Kakashi's eye away when he was on a mission, for example, but still they would be the prime suspects if that ever happened, and it would still make them look very shady and untrustworthy, which is not something they wanted to, because it takes a long time after Tobirama's reign for the Uchiha clan to say, oh yeah, this is enough, we are not being listened to, everything's garbage in this village, we're gonna have to launch a coup. They try to negotiate a lot at first, and trying to steal Kakashi's Sharingan would just sour those negotiations and diplomacy. Not to mention that the more time passed, the stronger Kakashi would get, and therefore it would just become harder and harder for you to collect the Sharingan back from him. I'm not saying it couldn't be done, I'm just saying it could be a hassle, and Uchihas could even die in the process. So Fugaku's saying they're not gonna take Kakashi's eye back because he wants to respect Obito's final wishes is a political statement, a calculated maneuver where he says one thing that's very honorable, but he doesn't mention the more important reason, which is the political situation of the clan, because that would expose the Uchiha clan's weaknesses to its own members, making his own leadership more fragile and make people question if he is the right leader for the clan. After all, Fugaku was pretty much forced to launch the coup by the clan itself. He didn't want to do that, but he was willing to do it because the entire clan wished to, And if the clan knew that Fugaku was trying to appease the village by letting Kakashi keep the Sharingan, this would make him look weaker in their eyes, and expedite the time frame where the Uchiha clan would demand a coup on the Leaf Village. Watch this other video right here to find out why Kakashi stopped copying Jutsu's Naruto Shippuden. Like the video if you enjoyed it or if you learned something new. Subscribe and ring those notifications to make sure you always receive the videos. These things help me out a lot, so please do them, and thank you so much for watching.